some of you may have put together that I love the Jurassic franchise. It kinda goes hand in hand with liking dinosaurs, which is why it pains me so much that I really didn't like Jurassic World Dominion.
Hello there.
And it's so much missed potential, it's actually insane. The fact that dinosaurs on the mainland isn't even what the movie is about is honestly ridiculous. Now, this movie's been on my mind a lot lately, and a comment on my last video gave me an idea. They were asking me to redesign the Pyroraptor, but I felt like doing something more substantial. So I'm going to create a scene that I feel should have been in Dominion, and that's the death of Dr. Wu. Wu is a fascinating character in this franchise. He was a major player in the first novel, was basically a glorified cameo in the first movie, and got a second chance at life in the World movies. In the first two World movies, we see that he is a man of science, someone that values his work above all else, an extremely arrogant, narcissistic, ambitious man. This was very in line with his characterization in the novel, and the more negative aspects of this were emphasized in his dealing with the film's villains. However, in Dominion, this is completely thrown away. He is regretful and a whole lot more humble. He even goes on about how much more of a genius Charlotte Lockwood was than him, which I can't see this Wu doing. Now, this can be seen as tangible character growth, but there are some major problems with it. Two biggest of which is that it's entirely off-screen and it's caused by him making locusts. Also, because of the last two films' refusal to kill anybody off that's a good guy, he's off the hook for all of his actions, robbing him of an homage to his novel death scene. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. He was killed by a raptor in the novel, and the Pyroraptor is just the candidate. There's probably some who don't know how he died in the novel, so I'm going to summarize it. For context, in the book there were a lot more than 3 raptors. Robert Muldoon, Jerry Harding, Dr. Wu, and a morphine-high Ian Malcolm, as well as Ellie Sattler, are holed up in the Visitors Center, which is being attacked by raptors. A couple of them are on the roof, gnawing through the steel bars that separate them from the windows. Ellie is outside, distracting a couple raptors through a fence so Muldoon can shoot them, while Harding tends to Ian. While this is all going down, Henry is lost in thought. He ponders his own work and goes basically into a fit of extreme prideful thought. On top of that, he secretly finds the fact of dinosaur breeding as a positive. It meant that he successfully recreated the animals so perfectly, they could reproduce. Muldoon realizes something is wrong when the raptors leave the roof. Wu throws open the door and yells for Sattler to get inside, but is caught off guard from above. A raptor grabs him and yanks him outside. He is immediately sliced open by the toe claw, and the raptor begins to pull at Wu's intestines, while he is still alive. A chilling realization of Grant's
"You are alive" when they start to eat you.
Holy shit!
Yeah, the JP books are not for the faint of heart. Now, something interesting is the current theory on dromaeosaur predation. Raptor prey restraint is a model that's generally agreed upon at the moment. The basics are that they would leap onto their prey using their sickle claws to grip instead of slash. Using their wings for balance, they would begin to eat the prey alive, or if it's too strong for that, inflict damage with its teeth. They actually fit very thematically with Wu's novel Death, and that's what I'm going to be basing this on. Also, I don't actually know a whole lot about Pyroraptor. I was quite saddened to realize there was almost nothing of it. Apparently, it's being tentatively placed as an Unilogine. In the end, I basically went with a generic-looking dromaeosaur body, if that's even a thing. And the head has mixed dromaeosaurid and Unilogine traits, like being long, which I guess makes it look more Velociraptorian than I had in mind, but let's just ignore that. It's not too bad. Let's be honest, this isn't a rigorous paleo art, so I think I get some leeway. I started with a bunch of thumbnail sketches to try to get the gist of what I was looking for compositionally. I wanted this piece to be less linear than my other works. I find that composition in general is something I really need to pay more attention to than I do. And so this way I could pick different ideas that I think would work in a sort of moody or creepy sort of aesthetic. Next, I tried to draw pictures of Wu's face in a pained expression, which is something I'm not good at. I'm not good at drawing people on the best of days, and a dynamic face, which is supposed to be convincingly, in pain, isn't gonna help me. After finalizing my concept, I went to color experiments. My first being set during the forest filled with fiery locusts at the end of the film. That scene is really cool and the lighting is spectacular, but ultimately I went against it because the Pyroraptor is red, and red and orange don't contrast each other very well, and it'd probably get lost in the background. I then did a second one based on the Hyperloop, where Dodgson died, because I thought, hey, that would give me a great chance to do some moody lighting and give them glowing eyes, because that always works in making dinosaurs look scary. And ultimately, I definitely went with that one. With all that out of the way, let's actually start the final piece. Now, one thing I'm gonna just make clear right away is all artworks have an ugly stage, and the fact that mine started from sketch to underpainting doesn't really help, and it lasts quite a bit, but let's ignore that. So I started with my base layer, which I used with dollar store acrylic paint. Now, the reason I did this was cheaper, and it gets good coverage, which I need to save my more expensive paints, in this case my lovely Liquitex paints, for the details and actual layering and blending. After a bit, I decided to make a bold lighting decision. I'm going to be bathing Wu in blue light because in the scene where Dodgson is about to be killed by Dilophosauruses, he scrambles back into the Hyperloop to a vent, and inside the Hyperloop, because the engines have gone out, there is their emergency lighting, or whatever it is, and it's all blue. So I thought that would look really cool, and that way the skin tone could be forgiven a bit, because hey, it's blue. I also exaggerated the light a bit and made it brighter than it normally would be, so it reflected on the raptors and just made it all look a bit more connected, and it made the raptors more visible. I also made it so that Wu was like trying to scramble in through the vent, but gets foiled at the last moment. Whoops, I forgot to press play. That's wonderful. I love it when this happens. It happens in every video, pretty much. Every single time. I always forget once. God damn it. Of course, raptors most likely didn't hunt in packs, and all the actual fossil evidence is completely circumstantial, so I'm going to leave this a bit vague. I think it'll be more interesting if they were cooperating less like wolves, more like Komodo dragons, similar to the velociraptors in Prehistoric Planet did, where they're not exactly the most friendly with each other. Hey, heck, even like the ones in the books. So I'm gonna have one snarling at the other ones to show they may be working together, but they're not friends. They're just happen to be taking advantage of a big prey item that happens to be available to them. So even if that wasn't the case, the raptors in JP hunt in packs, so it could be canonically explained away. And that halo-y thingy behind the Pyroraptor is the Hyperloop light thing. I changed it later on to be less noticeable because it ultimately took away from the piece of it. It took attention away from Wu and put it more on the central raptor than it already was. And it was just overall not really vibing with the rest of the piece, so I dulled it down a bit.
Gotta admit, this is cool.
After that, I did the light strips or buttons. I really don't know what they are, but peeling off tape is so satisfying. Actually straight. Oh no, there's some stuff here, but it's straight. It's straight. Oh, nope, it's curves a bit there. That makes me a bit mad, but it's good enough. I just do the other side and get all the loopy mumbo jumbo in, and then I can put in. And this is sideways. I know. I can put in this part. I'm gonna really try to make it so that it's not, you know, terrible looking without his hands. And I'm gonna put a third raptor here because there's just kind of nothing going on. You can see I've tried and painted over a few attempts. Honestly, though, I really like it so far. I think it's chugging along. Yeah, new Raptor. And I forgot to press record. Again. I love that so much. I love that so much. I love... Hello. Hi. Are you here to watch me paint? Yeah? Cool. Oh yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Like, literally, when that video came out, I had around maybe 35, and now I'm almost at 1.7k. That's actually insane. I did not expect that. Thank you guys so much. Redesigning Pop Culture Dinos 2 is coming. Don't you worry, it's coming. I just wanted to work on something a bit different first, so... yeah, no, there you go. But next video that comes out will definitely be that. I've already decided the animals that are going to be in it, because you guys left so many suggestions. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.